Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Sister Nzinga. You're flowing and growing with Sister Nzinga here on his YouTube channel. We thank you so much for everyone that has participated and continue to watch and share and like and comment. Okay. Our main platform is to emancipate yourself from mental slavery because none but ourselves can free our minds. It's really up to us. It's up to us. So that's why I take the time out to be able to do this, because this is something that it's not that hard to do. You have to just make wise choices. And of course, our mantra is think. It ain't illegal yet. We've taken the word think and broke it down to take hold of and implement new knowledge. So what we want you to do is to listen to these things that's going on, and not listen just to me, listen to other people, because there's so much information out here in this media world that we're in right now, the social media world. There's so many places where you can get information, but take the information and use it. Don't just say, well, I know this, or I heard this, I went to this lecture, or I read this book. But what did you get out of it? And if you did get something out of it that resonates with you, because everything doesn't resonate with everybody, so if something does resonate with you, then you have to take it and implement that thing. So you take hold of it and you implement this new knowledge. And that's what's really important. That's what we're trying to get you to do. And I'd like to thank Ms. Kenyatta Miyake last week for being my guest artist who came in and spoke. She was just my guest. She's not an artist as in drawing, but she's artistic in the things that she does. And I thank her for coming on last week. And so I hope that you listen to that and also know that I am giving I have a challenge out here. There's a $25 gift card available for that person who has taken hold of and implemented new knowledge. So you need to leave the information in the comments so I can know that you did this thing, you heard this, you implemented it, and let me know how it worked for you. So I will be looking down over that for this month of April. Well, we're still in this last of March, but on the month of April, I'll be taking and looking at all the comments that have been submitted, and I will pick one from there. Me and Kenyatta will pick one from there because it was sponsored by Miss Kenyatta, and we're going to see if you're implementing this stuff. Okay, all right. We want you to use it. Use it, don't abuse it. But last month we talked about the money, your money, honey. And the importance of you being able to use your money for things that are dear to your heart, things that you benefit from. Because we live in a world now that everything we have to pay for, air, water, cable, everything that we pay for, that you use, you have to pay for it. So we can now say, I live this certain place, or I drive this car, or, and I wear this certain thing, but you're exchanging it for the money that you're working for. And sometimes we don't think about these things because then when it's time for us to say, I want to go on a trip, or, something that you really have an emergency you need to use your money for, ain't nothing there. Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard and it was bare. So we want to be able to talk the importance of keeping your money. So this month we're going to talk about just some of the things that we want you to think about. I know this is the last week in March, so I'm still going to stick with the money situation, but I'm just going to give you some tidbits because I don't want it to get boring to you. I want to make it be interesting and lively, but I want you to think about some of the things that are very, very important to you. And so once we start working on ourselves, which is what we're doing, we are loving self. Remember that I talked a lot about self-love and doing things that makes us happy, making choices that's good for us. All this is all connected. We're looking at this from a holistic approach. It's not just looking on one thing. All this is connected, all of you. Your ideas, your thoughts, what you eat, how you dress, where you talk, your environment you keep yourself in, all these things have to do with the choices that you make. And once you make these choices and you start loving on self, you're going to see that some of these choices that you make are different. I think there's going to be certain places that you won't go anymore, or certain foods that you won't eat anymore, because you're loving on self is what you're doing. You're giving yourself the best. And you're also making decisions. Oh, you see that butterfly? You're making decisions on being your authentic self. And, so you need to unapologetically be your authentic self. It's okay for you to be different from everybody else. Everybody want to be the same, but that ain't cool. That's what they teach you because they know that everybody's going to be the same. And so they're going to want this certain thing and da. So they can dictate to you what you like, what you want to eat, where you want to go. They can dictate to you, oh, this is what's happening. Remember I told that word trending. And so they can dictate to you these ideas. But if you're thinking for yourself, because remember, it ain't illegal yet. You're thinking for yourself, then you're going to be doing things. You're going to find that you're going to do things a little differently, or you're going to want it differently, or your style's going to be different. And all of that is really okay. All of that is really okay. Okay, and we want you to understand that it is okay. I know we live in a world where most everybody does the same thing. Everybody wears the same style. When the new phone comes out, you're getting it. When a new sneaker comes out, you're getting it. You know, when a new eyeglass style comes out, you're getting it. Okay, but if you really don't need it, why are you getting it? You know, so that has to do with the money. And so we want to just tie all this together about things that we need for ourselves. But one thing I do want to talk about, because my main audience, you know, this information I'm giving really is really for anybody, but the main audience that I'm targeting is my own people. And so one thing we do want to talk about doesn't have anything to do with money, but it has to do with that self-love. And that is loving your own black self, loving your own black skin that you're in. You see, I'm light-skinned, and that's the way I came out. And of course, when I was younger, I used to think about, why am I so light? Why do I have this color hair? Because this is my natural color hair. And, but I had to love me. And now I'm okay that I'm thin, because a lot of people I went to school with, boy, they about 2 or 3 times bigger than me now. So, you know, I'm healthy and I'm thin, I'm light skinned. That's just the way it is. You know, my hair color, now people have to go to the store to buy dye to get their hair this color. So there was things that I had to learn as I became older to be able to love myself. You know, I was thinking, because I'm different from everybody else in my family. Everybody else in my family is darker, you know, with different sizes, shapes, and colors. You know, and so I had to say, okay, well, this is who you are, Zinga, and you're going to love yourself for that. Okay? So let's get back to the money, honey. This is my last month with featuring the money thing, and then next month's going to be some hard truths. Some hard truths. So let's talk about some simple things. These are hard but simple truths. Hard but simple truths. You know, a lot of people like to go to the mall and say, I this came from this store, that store. They like to throw names around. But, you know, when you're doing that, throwing these names around, what you're doing is that you're supporting those names. You know, there was some, I think it was, what's the sneaker the boot that everybody wear, that gold colored boot. I can't even think of the name of them, because, see, I'm definitely not into name brands and stuff like that. It's going to come to me in a minute. But everybody's buying that boot. But I just want to show in that, I know there was some years ago, but this man actually came out and said that he don't advertise to black people, because that's not really who his target market is. But the bottom line is that we wear Timberlands. We wear more Timbs than anybody does. Black people wear more Timbs than anybody will, because, you know, we want to be having on the latest grain and greatest and name brand and that kind of stuff. So, do you know that when you're wearing these things, it could be that name, it could be, I don't even want to give them no props to even call their names, but you know the name brands that you wear. When you're wearing that, you know, if you have a business mind, marketing is very, very important. It's a very high budget cost it's a very high cost item in your budget, and when you're doing business, and it's important because it could make you or break you. So sometimes when we wearing these name brand things, you're advertising for these people. These people are not paying you, you know. So you're being used, because when you wear it, you got the name right here, or the name on the shoulder, or the name, you know, on the back of the jacket, or wherever it is, or their initial on it. You're working for those people without even knowing it. And see, this is the thing I'm telling you about this mental slavery. We ain't tuned to it. We're still slaveries mentally. Ain't no chains around you, but mentally you're still a slave. But when you wear other people's things, you need to understand that that you are working for those people with these name brands, and these people really don't care about advertising our community. So, I'm not saying for you to stop wearing them. I mean, but just don't think that you want to buy that thing because you to show that you have this thing. Because your brand, who you are, this face right that you giving up, that's who you really are. That's your brand. When you look in the mirror, that's your brand. And so I'm not saying to stop wearing these things, but just be conscious about them, and don't just buy them because it's the latest trend or this is what everybody else is wearing. You know, so you got to be. We want you to think, because it ain't illegal yet. So think about that, and things like cable TV. I ain't trying to knock your thing, but I guess I am though. But because you know cable is something there are energy waves through the air. So there is an instrument that you could buy if you want to yourself that could pull that cable. Remember, we used to have antennas on the TV. Well, some of us may remember that, or some of us may not. But we used to put the antennas, and that the antenna would pick up the wavelengths, and that would determine like if you could get more than just 369 on your TV. So the stuff is out here. So what they've done, they've captured this thing, and they're putting it out to you, and then they're charging you. So that thing that they come and stick on the side of your house or stick on your roof and so forth, it's the same thing. What they're doing, they're just capturing those airwaves, and then they're charging you to be able to look at TV. So just think about the fact that, okay, I can only watch one TV on one channel at a time. So it's a big ripoff to think that, you have to spend $150 or something like that on watching TV. And if you watch TV, you have to really pay attention to the fact that some of the things that be on TV, it's toxic. That's the word I want for it. It's toxic. So once you start loving yourself more, then you're going to pull back and say, I'm not going to watch this TV, because you see that what it's doing, that it's not healthy. They show so much killing on TV. They show you how to make a bomb. They show you how to rob a bank. This is not what you want your children to see. All this stuff, and then the cussing and the sex that's on TV. I mean, love yourself enough to know that no, I don't want to see this, or you get sick of seeing it. And one thing, we get sick of seeing the black people die first. Okay, we get sick of seeing the goddamn black people die first on these TV shows. I mean, it's just right there in our face. I mean, don't dispute me if you really have a point about something you saw and black people didn't die first. But this is the stuff that, and it's the mind blowing, it's the mind games that they play on us, So, and if it's about loving yourself, and you gotta love yourself to say, okay, look, I've had enough of this, or you want to try something different, because the time that you spend on TV and the time that you spend on flipping, scrolling, pay attention to that. Pay attention to the fact that you're, maybe you come home from work or on your lunch hour, or I don't know how you do it, but you get up in the morning or something. How much time do you waste scrolling? And I would say at least an hour, because sometimes the way this thing is made up, it mentally will grab you. And you may get on there to say, let me just look up and find a certain recipe. But there's something going to be there to distract you and send you a different direction. Next thing you know, you're looking at something else, and then you get off, you say, oh, I've been looking at this thing too long. But you never even went on there to find out the answer to the question that you were looking for. And that's intentional. It's intentional for us to be able to get hooked on this thing and just go on and on and on. And the more stuff that we post of ourselves and our personal information, this is a machine that they are creating. Okay, it's a robot. And so the more stuff that you put on there, the more information that they have about you. And of course, yes, there's lots of information that's out there on us, because you can just put a name in there, and your name, your address, and your phone number will come up. That's because you have entered it so many times that it comes up every time. So understand that these things that we're looking at on this social media or on TV, they are intentional. They are there for a reason by the person who created it, and they have intentions on what they're trying to get out of you or what they're trying to get you to do. So we have to be mindful of those type of things. And another thing I want to talk about when it comes to the money is credit cards. Credit cards are good. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need them, because if the stuff ain't flowing and you just need to your car break down or something like that, you need it. But you have to be mindful about how you pay it back. Read the small print, because most credit cards have at least, say, 19 to 25% interest charge. So if you don't pay that credit card back in full, and sometimes we can't, sometimes it may take us 2 or 3 months, but have intentions yourself on how you're going to handle it. Don't just pay that minimum. Oh, all you got to pay is $35. If you borrow $500 on a credit card, that means if you're not paying it on time, that you're going to pay back at least $125 back for using that money. I'm just giving you that as an example, because that's like 25%. That's a rough example, 25%. So you have to think about how you're using your money. So when you use a credit card, use it, but pay it back, because the longer that you don't pay it back, the more that you will end up paying back. Like I said, just as an average, if you borrow $500 on a credit card, you're going to pay back $625 at least, depending on how you paying that money back. So I use a credit card because I get points on my credit cards. That's how I use mine. And I use it even though I have the money, but I use the credit card because I want to get points to buy things on certain websites or stuff like that. So have intentions yourself of how you want to do these things. So this is the thing. have your own intentions about how you're going to spend your money and how you're going to use it, because somebody already got a plan out there waiting for you. So we want to just be intentional about the credit cards, and how another thing about how we're spending our money. But one part I want to just go over again, and I'm going to end with this because I've been talking for a little bit, and I covered a couple subjects I really want to cover more, but I don't like to make the video so long because I want you to just be able to watch it and watch it from the beginning to the end. But black is beautiful. So this is the self-love part, and this is the part about the money and how you spend your money, because it's, like I said, this is a holistic approach of how you're going to connect all these things. I do want to make one more thing too before I go. But black is beautiful. They talk about us and they say that our lips are thick, and we know that our lips are thick. Our noses are a little broader than others, but this is a beautiful thing. And so when you're loving self, whatever your lips is, I have freckles. If you look at me close up, I don't know if you can see them, but I have freckles. And, I was like, oh my gosh, I look like little Chatty Cathy. There used to be a doll when I was a child called Chatty Cathy. And I didn't used to like them. But you have to love these things. You have to love everything about you. Everything about you should love when it comes to yourself. We're taught that, that the darker the skin, that you black is ugly. But just love up on yourself and know that this is okay for you to love yourself. Your wide hips. Some people go and pay to get that booty that you may have, and you think it's a bad thing. Some people paying for it, so count it as your blessing. The only thing else I want to talk about on the video today, because I'm trying to just keep things holistic, and I'm talking about love, and I'm talking about the money, and I want to talk about some foods. It's so important that we are mindful of the foods that we eat, and that's when it comes to self-love. We know that chitlins is good. God damn, dumb chitlins. I like me some chitlins with some hot sauce and some vinegar, but I don't eat that anymore because I love myself enough not to put that stuff into my body. It tastes good, but no, it ain't happening for me no more. And one thing that you could go by is if something that you buy, if it goes bad eventually, that's the stuff you need to eat. Don't eat it when it's bad, of course, but you want to eat it, because if something lasts forever, you put it in the cabinet, it don't need refrigerating, or it doesn't need, there's exceptions to every rule, of course. It doesn't need refrigerating, or it comes in a can, or it's a powder or something. Those are foods that are not good for you because they have been processed. The nutrients and stuff like that has been taken out of them, and it's just not good for you. So if your food expires, has an expiration date, then like especially fresh fruit, you pick it off the tree, and they bring it to you and so forth. Even though if you don't live in a place where these things are produced, you are still getting. They may freeze it, or they may be spraying it with something so it can go through the process of being shipped to you, or sent on a boat or truck to you or whatever. But the most important fact to think about the food is it good for you? And we like eating fried chicken, and they say, oh, black people eat fried chicken. Most black people do, because fried chicken tastes good. But be mindful of what you fry it in, and then just be mindful, knowing that those greasy foods, stuff like that, is really not good for the body. So you have to be mindful and take that on just get it sometimes, but just don't use it, but don't abuse it. That's what it comes to pretty much anything. Use it, but don't abuse it. So this is March, and this is the last month that I'll be talking about the money situation, and when it comes to money, sometimes it's unfortunate that the best food for you costs more. It should be the different way, but it's not. So that's something that you should spend your money on, because it comes to self-love. If you're trying to put something in your body that will be good for you, and so buy fresh. And if you can't buy fresh, buy frozen, but try to stay away from canned food, because there's stuff there that the metal from the can comes into the food, which will mess up your body eventually. And they usually have to put some type of preservatives or some type of chemical base inside it to make that food stay fresh in that can until you open it. So love yourself. Pulling back from the previous month, love yourself. Buy things, do things, speak of things, go places that benefit you, and that's good. That's good for yourself and for your body and your soul. When it comes to the money, be conscious of how you're spending the money, and don't forget to save some for yourself. Save some for yourself. for that rainy day, for that emergency, or just when you just need something, or if you have children for the college fund. You just always pay yourself, because it maybe it's something that you want, not to go out and just buy everything, because everything that's given to us in this world has a cost to it. So you want to live in a quote unquote fancier place, it costs. You want to drive a fancier car, it costs. I mean, and if you drive a Mercedes and just a more expensive car, and I don't want to even put these name brands out here because I'm not trying to advertise for these people, but be mindful. Now, the oil change is an oil change, but an oil change in one car may cost $80, something $50, $85, but oil change on a different car may cost you $150, $250. Okay, so all that money, all that comes along with it. So make choices that's good for yourself, and use your money wisely. Save some money for that rainy day. Save that money for that special thing you want to, maybe you're turning 40, one of those monumental type of birthday celebrations. I'm turning 65 this year, and I'm celebrating me. I'm going all the way to Africa and celebrate my 65th birthday. If you want to come along, leave a note down. Let me know in the comments, and I'll give you the information if you can go with me too, because I am taking other people with me. It's an inexpensive trip. It's under $3,000, and I'll give you the details later. I don't want to go into that right now, but yeah, I'm going to Africa for my birthday because I'm treating me. And I haven't been there in a long while, and I just want to do that, and I just want to celebrate myself there. So don't forget to think it ain't illegal yet. So I'm just giving you little tidbits about things for you to think about, and the more that you have self-love, then these things will start. You'll think about these things differently, and you'll start making changes in your life. And just most importantly is our money. We work hard for our money. We want to make sure that we are using our money wisely, and that the money that we work hard for is benefiting us and not going out the door to pay all your bills. So I thank you so much. Remember, think it ain't illegal yet. And we are working on emancipating ourselves from mental slavery, because I want you to know that there's no more chains around our necks or our feet, but I'm telling you, they're messing with our heads, and some of us don't realize it. But once you do realize it, you can tell, because you're going to start seeing a change in yourself. You're going to make different decisions. You're going to feel different about things. You're going to remove some things from your life, and you're going to feel better about, just overall. Your spirit will feel better. And don't forget, take that time to be still and have time for the Most High, and you listen to that little voice, and it will never steer you in the wrong direction. And once you start doing that, I know I'm getting off on the subject, but I just had to say things as I think about it. Once you start doing that, you're going to start realizing things. I mean, because it was just as you go and do things, it's just something simple. I think the other day I was thinking about something. The Spirit said to get my, what was it? To take this blanket with me, and because I went camping, and I was like, I'm gonna need no blanket, but I said, okay, Zinger, you better listen, and I went and grabbed that blanket. And let me tell you, when we went and camped out, it was cold, and I'm so glad I bought that blanket. So you start seeing things that you heard the little voice say it, and you just said, oh no, and you made the decision. Okay, but that little voice, that ain't your little voice. That's Spirit talking to you. You made the decision to say, no, I don't need that, or I'm not going to take that, or I'm going to go this way. And then once you do that thing, you're going to say, oh wow, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and it's too late. So it's just the next time. So I'm going to say next time to you, peace and love. Remember it's up to you to emancipate yourself from mental slavery, and think it ain't illegal yet. So take hold of and implement new knowledge. Again, I thank everyone for listening, watching, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. All right, God loves you, and so do I. Peace and love.